I got lots of paper. Yeah, she know that I'ma keep it player. I don't want you later. I been on my shit, but you know I never play. I ain't know what happened. You getting mad in some new type of way. At least you can quit the capping. Be real, baby, say it straight. Yeah, hit my line and you do what's right, then we'll be okay. Yeah, you wanna lie to me and my pride got nothing to say. I know that you bad for me, it's a tragedy, I can't stay away. I need your devotion, don't let me hope it come around one day. Big world, tell me why it feels so lonely. Fearless, I come from the west side, shoddy. Yeah, we courtside, came a long way from them nosebleeds.
Bro, let's do this. Take two. Just did a whole hour podcast just for the FL to crash. Just for the whole thing to crash, bro. But we're back though, man.
We're back. We're gonna redo it.
We're back, bro. Let them know what's up, bro. Tell them your name, man.
All right. My name's Kato. Spell it K-A!T-O.
And I was talking about the exclamation point. I didn't even know it was there.
Yeah. It's I just want to stand out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just wanted to be a little different from everybody else. And just there's a couple people named Kato, like a producer and a photographer.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. And I was like, obviously making like a bunch of rage music and shit at the time too. So I was like, oh, exclamation point would be hard as fuck. And it's all caps, so I was like, yeah, shit, might as well.
You know, it's actually interesting now that I'm hearing it. You know when you watch a movie for the second time?
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking like exclamation point, like the anger.
Yeah.
Throughout your, you know what I'm saying? Throughout your life and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It definitely represents like a little bit of that.
And you said it's a Japanese term, no?
Yeah, it's a Japanese term for just like the ocean and just like the waves and
it's a vibe.
Yeah, just a vibe. And I just like, as soon as I seen it, like this has been my name forever. Like
right.
Since the off rip. Like I had a couple other names and shit when I was like coming up, but like this has just been the name. Like it used to be Kato James because James is my middle name.
Yeah.
And it used to be Kato James. But then I took the James off and I was just like, Kato's cool. Everybody calls me Kato. Like no one calls me my Govey, like nothing. Like everybody just calls me Kato. So
right.
It just stuck and like something that I related to and like it just spoke to me, you know what I'm saying?
Wow. And
yeah.
Does it like mean specifically waves? Like
I don't think it means waves. I think just the way I perceive the word. Like
right.
when I seen like ocean, I was like, okay, like ocean, like it's like you can go and you look everywhere and it's just ocean, everything. You can go in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Everywhere is ocean.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's just what I envisioned for like my career is you see Kato's everywhere.
Yeah. I've heard you.
Yeah. So it just spoke to me and like I told you like off the pod like a couple days ago, like I was growing up, I was into Japanese culture like a lot. Like when it came to, it was weird that I never came across anime until like
that's what I'm saying. So you're like 19, 20.
But like, yeah, I was just really into their fashion, like dancing. Like I was into, you know, the masks they wear, like before, like pre-COVID, like those like designer masks and shit.
Yeah.
I used to have them. Like I used to wear those shits
before they were popping.
Before they were popping and stuff. And yeah, I was just like super into it. It was cool.
I'm hearing you, man.
Yeah.
So, take us back to the beginning.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you grow up, man? Where are you from?
Well, I was born in London, Ontario.
Yeah.
Raised in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. It's a little city, North Ontario, going like towards like Winnipeg. Like you're on your way there.
Okay.
It's nowhere near Winnipeg, but like it's like going out that way. It's It's like an 8-hour drive from where we are now, Toronto. So. It's pretty north, but pretty small city. Like nothing really to do there, so I had to get out. A lot of drugs and stuff that go on over there and shit too. So
yeah. You were saying like growing up, looking around, there wasn't a lot of opportunity, kind of in your face, especially when it comes to the creative aspect of things.
Yeah, just like it's a sports town, right? Like it's like you're either gonna make it in sports or you're gonna do construction or you're gonna do the plant or you're gonna do like the hospital or it's pretty much the big jobs there, right? So it's very few. A lot of people do the same things. A lot of people have the same mindsets. So it's like it's hard to creatively like get your mind right there when it's not a very creative place. You know what I mean?
Talking about sports, like all you talk about is music or like nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
I know.
You're very chill, but the joke is you were a competitive hockey player and you've been doing drums since you were 4. Like,
yeah, I know.
What's up with that?
I used to do drums. Like, I started playing drums when I was little. It's actually jokes because, like, I had, like, before my parents could like afford to get me a drum set.
Yeah.
You know those like tubs that like you put like stuff, like I have them in my room and at the crib, like those tubs you put like clothes or whatever in, like those little like storage containers.
Okay.
So I used to drag them out the garage to the top of the driveway.
Yeah.
And I bang on them, dude. I'd act like I'm in a fucking concert like Metallica or some shit. Like I'm banging on them.
From young, like that's crazy.
I was like young. There's an old video on my grandpa's Facebook of me doing that, and it was just like, I don't know. I just like always loved like being loud. Like I was just like, when I was a kid, I just wanted to be like,
yeah,
you know, hit the drums and shit. And yeah, it was a big part. It was literally like that. It was drums and hockey. That's all I did, was drums and hockey. Played hockey, got into hockey really young too. It was like around the same age, like when I was 4. And yeah, I played till I was about 14, and then kind of just fell out of it and stuff. Right. But I was super competitive. Like wanted to like go pro, wanted to be in the NHL. All I thought about, pretty much all the video games I played as a kid was just hockey video games. Like,
right.
You know, I did dry land training. Like I did all that stuff. Like I applied myself really hard to it, but it's just the more I got, the older I got, it's super expensive too. It's like a really, really like expensive sport to play.
Right.
And I was just like, I wasn't like really into it as much getting into high school. And I was like, I don't want to like put this financial burden, like my parents putting me through it, to like something that I'm not even really into, you know?
Yeah. As we go through this episode,
yeah,
you're going to name very vital people throughout your life.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? You had pillars that just, they were there when they needed to be.
Yeah. And
one of those pillars was this coach for hockey.
Yeah, my coach Duguay. Coach Duguay, he was my coach on my last hockey team that I played on. And yeah, he just like told me that like he could kind of sense that I was not really feeling hockey. Like I had concussions and stuff like that, and like, you know, it was just whatever. Like it was around that time I started smoking. Like I was like getting in with those crowds. They ran into each other. There's 2 timelines ran into each other. So one defeated
Gaff?
Yeah, Gaff.
Like,
yeah, the skate click. Like it just ran into each other. Like two of my lives collided, and like one of them just took over. And he kind of just like sensed that. Like I was always really good at hockey. Like I was a good hockey player. I definitely could have went pro if I like actually tried.
Right.
But I just didn't really care. And then like he was like, you know, there's more to life than just one thing. Like you don't need to feel like you need to do hockey and make it in hockey and still be like, he even told me like, you don't need to be like 27 still trying to go pro or something like that. Or like you don't need to still be in college trying to go pro. Like if you feel like you want to do something else now, do it. Like you don't need to do hockey your whole life.
Right. Which is powerful, which is big, because people feel like they're in a box. Even if you think you're passionate about something, yeah, you kind of feel like you have to do it or else. You know what I'm saying? You feel like it's the only thing you can do.
100%.
So it's interesting, and you're gonna help me. You're gonna help me with this. So hockey was a good outlet for you, right? But your relationship with your peers, with your teammates, wasn't the best at all.
No, it was just sorry. What were you gonna say?
And then I was gonna say that the Gaff crowd, they did lead you to maybe the wrong places, whatever, but they knew who you were and they saw you for what you were going through and they helped you out. So like it's in a way moving towards them instead of hockey, you value like your own personal
100%. Because in hockey, even like my whole life, like I just never fit in. Like I was just never part of that crowd. Like I wasn't a big party person, like going into high school, like, and like, you know, when you're going into high school, so you start going to parties and stuff like that. And like a lot of hockey players party and drink and all that stuff. So I wasn't into that. I was just into smoking. I wanted to smoke weed, chill, skate. And like around that time, I started to really get into skating. Then I went into this 7-8 program in my high school, and I met all my boys that do skating, like I'm at the time, right? And we all did like a little skate group, and like I just felt more accepted in that environment. You know what I mean? Like they just like were way cooler to hang out with. You know what I mean? I was just like, whoa, like this is like all the people I know from like hockey are just like, I don't know. You know the thing, you've heard stuff about people from hockey. It's just like it's not a cool place to be at least for me. Like it's not a good environment to be in. Like it's very toxic. Like it's not like, I just don't think like hockey, as you get older, I feel like it just gets worse. And like for me, I just didn't want to be a part of it. And like I made that decision young to do that, and then just started, obviously, like you could say that, you know, the path I went down going and meeting up with my new homies and shit.
Right.
With the skateboarding stuff, led me down a path I might not have ever went down going through hockey.
Yeah.
But I think like not being as sheltered like through like this new path like definitely like helped me like grow.
I think what you needed during that time that was important to you was connection.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a key, a vital part of your life that you needed. So, and that stems from, I think, the disconnect between your upbringing with your grandparents. Yeah,
for sure. Even like, because we were talking about when we were recording it before, like we were just talking about how like me and my grandparents were like me and my grandma were always cool. Like my grandma was like, like my superhero. Like I love my nana like to death. Even though I love my papa too. Like don't get her twisted. Like I love them both. But my grandfather, I just called him Papa and Nana. Like those are like the names that I called them.
Right.
But they're my grandfather and my grandmother. But they, like I just had a huge disconnect with my grandpa kind of right when I got into my teen years.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier about the whole quote that it's like you idolize your parents, you know, you demonize them, and you humanize them. And I was going into high school, smoking a lot of weed, talking to the kind of the wrong crowds, being around the wrong people. I just started demonizing my grandpa for no reason, and it really like put a disconnect between us. I think at that point,
right.
Obviously, now we're in a great place now, but it took a lot of like work and like progress to get to where we are.
We were saying that you went through a lot because you didn't grow up with your parents.
Yeah, no, I don't know I've never met my dad.
Yeah.
And my mom was addicted to drugs like my whole life, so I never had like a my grandparents gave me like the best like possible like childhood they could have.
Right.
But it's still like, you know, you're still kind of all over the place mentally when you're like a kid.
100%.
Like, seeing that kind of shit and like it definitely like creates scars and childhood trauma and stuff that you don't deal with until you're older. So,
and even though you went through a lot and there might have been a time where you demonized them, it's also a beautiful experience to go through the idolized, demonized, humanized process, because a lot of people get stuck maybe a step 2 or even step 1 to idolize. No, and when 100%. You idolize like your parents or anything like that, like the people who raise you or like your surroundings, your friends or your peers, your ceiling is their ceiling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't find yourself because you're beyond the cage that they might put you in. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's not until you recognize them as like their own entities and not as your gods, like you won't really go anywhere in life.
For real. Yeah. Honestly, like I think that like, you worded it perfectly. I just think that like you got to go through those 3 stages. I like think like for me, like those 3 stages like kind of came at like childhood, teenage years, adult.
Yeah.
But like we said before, like, you know, not everybody's stages are those stages. Some people don't go through all 3 stages. Some people go through 2, go through 1.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just very like, just very, very evident that like, we just like took our anger out of each other. You know what I mean? Like, you know, how, like some like relationships with like dads and sons and stuff. Like I pretty much had a dad-son relationship with my grandpa.
Right.
Because he was like the only like father figure I had in my life. And it was just very like up and down because of like the stuff going on with my mom, and like that's his daughter and stuff too. So like I didn't really get to see until like from my perspective now that like, you know, like he was also angry, right? Like I'm sure he didn't want to like have to raise his grandson. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And like, obviously he loves me and stuff and like all that stuff, but like, you know, like they were done raising their kids. Like they raised their kids.
Yeah.
And then now they got to raise another kid in their 40s, 50s. They're supposed to be retiring soon. Like, they got to work another 20 years to raise me.
Yeah.
So it's like, as a kid, you don't see that. I just see all the shit you want to see. Like you got the kid blinders on. Like you're only seeing like what you want to, and you're never looking deep into it. So as an adult, like, you know, going through the stuff I've been through as an adult, like I just see it from his point of view now. And like, it's like, you know,
and that helps you understand him.
100%. Yeah. And we're definitely like at the best relationship wise I think we've been at since I like became a teenager.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna skim past the gaff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
you're doing dumb stuff, but more importantly, they understood you, and that's what you cared about most.
Yeah, it was a sense of acceptance for sure.
Right.
Like I was just like, okay, cool. These are like my guys, and like I'm gonna ride with these guys and just see what the fuck goes on.
Right into grade 9.
Yeah, grade 9, we were just still doing some of the dumb shit, but I wasn't like hanging out with everybody that I was hanging out with in grade 7, 8, right? I kind of moved like friend groups. And that's where I met my dog Siah. Like, you know, Siah, we make music
duo.
together. Yeah, the duo. That's the twin right there.
That's your brother right there,
that is
bro.
like my actual brother. Like
to this day.
Yeah.
Like he's in the other room. Like to this day, he's your brother, bro.
That's my brother, bro. Like
stands
that's like,
by you.
It's like beyond like, yeah, it's crazy. Like
it's too much.
I'll do anything for that fucking guy, bro.
100%. He's come in clutch in your life too 100%. Many times.
And I met him in grade 9, and we were kind of like in the same friend group and not really like.
Cool, but you guys knew the same person without,
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like explain that.
My one homie that I grew up with, Matt, we met in grade 5, and along the line of like their lives, like they were playing like COD together on Xbox and stuff because they were like trying to like be like nuts at like COD and stuff at one point in their lives. And I met like Matt at like my elementary school, and then I met Siah's best friend through the 7-8 program I went into, and he became one of my best friends at school. Like, you know how you have like school best friends? Like, I didn't really hang out with them that much outside of school, but during school we were like together all the time.
100%.
And yeah, so I met Siah through his best friend, but he already knew my best friend. Yeah. So it was just crazy. It was just like it
was meant to be in a way, bro. Like world. You said, you listen to the universe a lot. You know what I'm
and it's even crazier because like our best friends, like my best friend Matt and his best friend, like, they don't get along. They didn't get along. So like it was just like
it wasn't for them. That whole ordeal wasn't for them.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. So it was just crazy, and then we just started like clicking up, and like we were just smoking, and like, you know, kind of like I was kind of doing the same shit but not on the same level, you know what I mean? Like we were doing like still smoking, like still like going into like abandoned buildings and like fucking like, you know, doing stupid shit, and like
you guys are on your adventure time.
Yeah,
bro. What's happening?
Exactly. And then grade 10 came, and we were just like still kind of doing the same thing. We just like it was just like a process of us kind of just like losing friends and like sticking to like our core friend group, right? Like some friends were here and there and in and out, and then it was always just me, Matt, and Siah, and we were just, you know, cooling grade 10, and then like we were
grade 10 is grade 10. The year you talked about how you started coming over to your house a lot, like every day after school and all that.
Yeah, real shit. Like he was like, I said, we were like, bro, we've been like best friends for fucking ever, like, you know what I mean? And he would come to my crib like every day, like all the time. Like
you guys were playing
2K, like even when he wasn't at my crib, we played 2K. Like he'd be at his crib playing 2K, but my crib playing 2K.
Which 2Ks?
2K16, you already know. 2K16, 2K17.
This guy knows nothing about 2K16, bro.
Yeah, I know everything about 2K16.
Absolutely nothing about 2K17. Yeah,
Sunset Park, bro.
Absolutely nothing,
Park.
bro.
That's my park, bro. I rented up on that park.
Not when I was around, I'll tell you that, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, we were turning up on 2K16, and then we kind of just did that until like 2K18, and then like kind of just lost the love for 2K after that game. But regardless, like we built like a friendship through like playing ball in real life and like also doing like 2K and shit like that. Yeah.
And grade 10 was the year that you had that another moment, another gem in your life with when the teacher was coming around.
Yes.
Kind of asking like, what do you want to do with your life? And that kind of sparked something like, what are you doing with your life? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, he was just like, well, no, that was in grade 11 actually, because it was the beginning of grade 11.
The guidance counselor moment?
The guidance counselor moment, because we were talking about picking electives, and grade 11 is obviously the first year you can like really pick like electives.
Okay.
And he put us in this like applied math class. Like me and Sai put us both in applied math. And leading up to this moment in like high school, like I honestly like didn't really give a fuck, right? And I was kind of just like coasting through school. Like I was not trying. Like could not care. Like school wasn't for me. Like, you know, Kairaz was saying on like the last podcast, like I just wasn't clicking with school.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get the work. Like I would study, and I just couldn't do it.
It wasn't
like,
your channel. It didn't show what you were actually good at. Like,
no,
you know, your true
like,
potential.
I just always wanted to be creative. Somehow I didn't know how I was going to be creative, but I just wanted to be creative. So we walk into the like guidance counselor's office, gives us this applied math class, super nonchalantly. Like I could tell like he didn't really give a fuck, but you know, that's what I thought, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, yo, like just go to this class, check it out. I was like, okay. Go to this class. I'm looking around. I'm like, I've never seen this room before. Like, it's a weird room. Like,
yeah,
I've been in high school for 2 years. Like, I've never seen this before.
Why
like,
would they dash you, bro?
And then I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, these are like all of like the kids with like learning disabilities.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sitting through the first class and I'm like, nah, what? Like,
yeah,
I cannot do this for like 5 months or whatever, how long a semester is, 3 months, 4 months. I can't do this. Like, I can't waste like credits or, you know what I mean? That's what I was
punch
just thinking
your ego
about.
or something.
Yeah.
Disrespect.
Like I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Bro? Like really? Like, are you serious? Like, I know
slap
I don't
in
try,
the face,
but
bro.
like,
yeah, slap in the face, bro. Like,
but yeah, so we were in there. Like, yeah, we can't be in here, bro. There's no way. And then, and then I went home, and then like, you know, I was just pissed off, and I was just like, yo, like, I can't believe this shit happened. Like, I can't believe you did that. Like, you know, that's fucked up. Like, and then my grandpa like talked me, and he sat me down. And he's like, you know, like maybe if you just like talk to him and like use your words and like say how like you didn't appreciate that, like he'll steer you in the right direction. And I was like, oh, okay. So I get up, go to school the next day. We're talking. I go, me and Siah are talking, and I'm like, yo, like that shit's still. I'm still pissed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I seen it from my grandpa's point of view, but I'm still pissed.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, like why don't we just go? Fuck it. Like, see if there's any other courses. There's got to be something. Like, there's no way that's the only course all left in high school. Like, I mean, keep in mind, like we waited to the last moment to do electives. So like, obviously, like we're getting like the bottom of the barrel type of courses, right? Because like it's what people don't pick. So we go there, and he's like, good. I wanted to see if you guys would come back or something.
Bro, it's just a test, fam.
It was a test. Like he knew, like deep down, like we weren't gonna stay in that.
Trying to teach you, bro. If you don't care, they won't care.
They
bro.
won't care.
People only care as much as you put out, bro.
Real shit.
Respect isn't given; it's earned.
Yeah, 100%. And then he was like, I got this class for you guys, like take it. And it was recording class. It was recording with Mr. White, who is by far like most inspirational, influential teacher. We used to, you know, obviously like piss him off a lot because we were just like stupid little high school students, but he did leave a big impact on like me and Siah for sure when it came to music. And yeah, he was just like, I don't know, he was just like the cool teacher that like was super mellow and like we could really do whatever we wanted. And we were able to have the freedom to explore like instruments and like all this stuff. And like I was saying earlier about how like I didn't like it at first because it was so technical. And I was like, nah, I want to do music off of feeling. I want to do music off of like this, and this. I don't want to learn the technical shit. Like I don't want to learn the basics. Like I just want to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm like a very like hands-on learner. I don't like, you know what I mean? Like I want to I want to do stuff. Like I don't want to just like sit there and like be talked to. And like, that's not how I retain information well. So I wasn't picking up on early. And then near like the first couple weeks of school or of that semester, he's like, okay, you guys can go like explore and like pick a booth or whatever and record and stuff. I was like, okay.
And it was takeover time.
Takeover. Me and Siah walk up into booth 2 or booth, it was booth A, B, C. So booth B, the middle one. It's like the control room for like booth A. Took it over.
And every single day you guys are in that booth. You're supposed to take turns though.
Oh, everybody's supposed to get their opportunity with that. We're supposed to get it probably like twice a week.
You guys took your opportunity.
I would go scrape people's names off that sheet and just take it. And
you're
like,
not having it.
Nah.
And then you would go home, you bought all the equipment too.
Yeah, bro. I went home. My first mic was a newer something. I can't remember. It was like a 47 something mic. It was like a gold mic from Amazon. I think it was like $50 with the pop filter and the arm stand and everything.
Yeah.
And then I got speakers that were like $100. I got audio interface. I'm pretty sure it's the Focusrite. Like I got that. I got a bunch of foam panels. I took all my clothes out of my closet, put all the foam panels in my closet, built a booth. And then we just started learning programs. Like I started out on Audacity.
You had no idea what you were doing.
Nothing.
You didn't no idea what this would become. You didn't know all the work you're putting in. Nothing, bro. And no one ever told you. No one ever understood or cared.
And to be honest, it was like I could have just watched videos on YouTube and tutorials how to do it, but I wanted to just like throw myself into it and just learn. And because like I said, I'm very hands-on. So like just doing it, like I was like, okay, cool. Like I learned to figure out ways around Audacity. Then I just kept upgrading programs. Like I went to Cubase, I went to Reason, I went to Reaper. And then for a little bit, we were in like, Adobe has this like audio recording software. Like we were in that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And like every program was cool, but it's like, like it's not what we use to record now. So
100%.
Like all the songs.
But it built your foundation though, you know what I'm saying? So when you came here, you were ready.
Yeah, and Reaper for sure, like the free version of Reaper. If anybody's listening and you need and you just can't afford a DAW, like Pro Tools or anything, like dude, get a free version of Reaper. That shit will save you a lot of money. And like, it's not that bad, or you can use FL and stuff like that too, but yeah. It was
so you're hustling with Siah?
Yeah, we're working at Walmart at the time, through those like last 2 years of high school, grade 11, grade 12, and we're just taking every opportunity to make music, and that was like the first time. Like up until that moment, I never thought I'd be an artist, never thought I'd make music. We actually linked with these two artists in the city, in the Sioux, called their names were Great Raheem and AJ the Poet,
right,
and we recorded our first song with them, actually. Like our first time recording at like a studio was with them. And it was super sick. Like we were just like, holy fuck, like, and we killed it, bro. Like we went off in our own like mind.
Yeah.
Like, these guys probably thought we were trash.
Yeah.
But, like,
you wouldn't play none of those tracks in high school now.
No.
But they meant a lot to you.
But they meant a lot. Like it was a very important part of me growing.
Stepping stones.
Yeah, but they're trash. But like it's like, you got to start somewhere, right? And like our start was just thrown into it, like fuck it, like everything was just thrown, like we're thrown into the program, thrown into the studio session, like it was so random. And then like we used to work with this guy named Graham, and he was a producer, and he was making beats in FL, and he was making all our beats, and we were just working with him, and then we just took that and ran with it and kept doing it throughout high school, and we went grade 12, and grade 12 was a crazy year for me because
that's the year. Was the girl in grade 11 or grade 12?
Oh, you're right. The girl's in grade 11 when I was working at Walmart. Yeah, shout out her. Hope she's doing well. I think she's doing pretty good for herself, but she's disrespectful a little bit. Yeah. She broke up with me in Walmart. So
while you guys are working. After the shift.
Yeah, I hate Walmart, bro.
Then you had to tune in the next day and see her, like you're working with her still, like seeing her all the time.
Yo, it was crazy. I was like, this is like what movies talk about.
You're a different breed still. I couldn't. So what was crazy about grade 12?
Grade 12 was just, it was just probably one of the luckiest years I probably had in my life, I would say. Like just everything falling into place, and like, we were just doing a lot of music. I wasn't really focused on school much. Didn't really care about anything, right? Like still, like I was still kind of going through that kind of growth process of like learning to care about like my future.
Right.
But we filled out like our college stuff, and I was like, yo, like Fanshawe, like that's London. And like growing up, like we have family in London. So, cause I was born there and everything, and we have a bunch of family there, a bunch of cousins and stuff. So we go there like every like couple like summers.
Yeah.
And we were just like, every time I go there, I'd see Fanshawe, and I'd be like, I'm going to be here. I'm going here for college, especially throughout high school. So when it came down to applying for programs, I was like, okay, what can I take that has the least amount of academic like credentials? You know what I mean?
Using your head, bro.
Crazy. Even like the business course that Siah got into, he'll tell you when he was on here, but like he got in by like 1%. Like he was eligible by like 1% from his math class.
Right.
And for me, it was photography. It was a photography, like they didn't care. It was an arts program. So it's like As long as you could show them like you're good at taking photos, it was good. So I took a couple photos, sent in a portfolio. I did photography throughout high school. Like I said, like with the skate crew, I used to film all their stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where I get like that kind of background from. And yeah, we were just kind of waiting around. I got accepted.
When did you start feeling that pressure?
About going to college?
And that like no one on your family, on your mom's side, was it?
Yeah, my mom's mom's side. So like my grandma, she not the one that raised me, my other grandma.
Yeah.
She, her side of the family, like I don't think any of them really went to college. So I was like the first from that side. And like everyone was pretty proud of me and stuff. And like I said last time, like it was like, oh, like it's a lot of pressure to have. Yeah. Like you have the pressure of the world. Like I got to go to college and be successful. Like I got to finish this program and go to college and do the right things and, you know what I mean, do everything proper.
Right.
And yeah, they were just like, not, don't get me wrong, they're supportive, but it's like the support can create pressure, right? Like your brain can easily turn support into pressure. And yeah, it was just kind of like a lot to deal with. And I was in a program, well, actually I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Like, so in the first semester of grade 12, we had this program, like I failed the literacy test twice. Yeah. Which is like a test you take for like, I don't know. I don't even know I honestly don't remember it, but like, you know what I mean? It's all like, good, bro. It's all good. I don't remember it, but you take a test for some shit. But like, you know what I mean? And it's stupid anyways. Yeah. What is it?
You needed the English.
Yeah, the English credit. Yeah. And I thought the class that I took, the literacy class, which is like a super dumbed down version of English class. Right. Like, I thought that was my English credit. Yeah. And then come to like second semester, I'm doing co-op. I'm working at Walmart, getting my credits, so I don't have to go to school. Like that was the whole point. I was like, I don't want to be in fucking school. Like, they're giving me opportunity to fucking work and then go to college and save money and get credits. Like, yeah, sure. Yeah. So I'm doing that. It comes down to like the last week or the last 2 weeks. I get a call from the school. They're like, you need to come into the office tomorrow. I was like, okay, what the fuck? Like, you know. Yeah. I go in, I'm talking. And they're like, yeah, you are missing an English credit. I'm like, but I took English in first semester. And they're like, no, you took the literacy English. You need like actual grade 12 English. And I was like, oh. So I'm just like, dude, like it's like over. I literally felt like the world was like crumbling. Like,
Has it ever been this intense ever in your life before?
Like I've had like intense moments, but not like that. Like that was like, holy shit.
The fear of disappointment.
The fear of disappointment, bro, the weight of that support, like the weight of the pressure, like everything all at once was just fucking, everything was just like, holy shit. I was just instant crash mode. I was like, no, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to, be around for any of this. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
I felt that before, man. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with Siah and he was like, yo, like, why don't you just like go talk to like our counselor, like that was doing our co-op stuff. He's like, why don't you just go talk to him and explain your story, right? And like, this is why Siah's my guy.
Shout out Siah. I was about to say that. Shout out Siah, bro.
Shout out Siah, bro. That's my guy because he's always been like that voice of reason. You know what I mean?
You kind of felt like giving up in that moment. You felt like it was over.
I felt like I was like, fuck, like I'm gonna be here my whole life. Like I'm not getting out of this zoo. Like I'm gonna be here my whole life. Like I'm just gonna end up like a lot of my family members. And like, it's a scary thought when you're like 17 and you feel like you're on the verge of breaking through something, right? Yeah. So I went and talked to my guidance counselor and I was pleading. I was like, yo, like, I'm like, this is such a shot in the dark. Like this guy's probably not going to listen to me. He's probably gonna be like, yo, just get your credit in the summer, go to school next semester or whatever. But I'm like, shit, like I have this whole plan to go aside like now. Like I'm trying to go now. I want to go now. I'm impatient as shit. I'm trying to go now.
I'm hearing you.
And so we were talking about that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, respects." Sheesh. Yeah. So we were talking about that, and he was like, "Yo, like, okay, what if I just bless you because I know you're a hard worker. I know you have a goal. You want to do something with your life. You don't want to stay here. Right. I'm not going to be a part of that." He literally said that. He's like, "I'm not going to be a part of that." He's like, I'm going to give you extra 100 hours. Keep in mind, like, each credit is like 100 hours. So you need 4 credits per semester, right? So, he gives me an extra 100. I have like 490 like hours. I only worked like 300. Like he gave me more than 100 hours.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit. Like, so the school is like, okay, like you got your hours, like, fuck it. Like, you know what I mean? So I pretty much graduated off like a technicality, but
that's what I was telling you before with the quote that my friend was telling me the other day, where it's like, on your path to success, if you have a goal, there will come a time where you will reach like an extreme failure. Like you'll reach the bottom of the bottom, the lowest of the lows. Yeah. Where you're like, it's over. Like there's no point of even trying. It feels like everything you worked for is completely gone. Yeah. But when you take a couple steps past that failure, which many don't. Yeah. That is when you'll reach the success. Exactly. It's like the final test to see if you're worthy.
100%, bro. It's like, it's crazy. Like it was just like, and like for me, like I told you earlier, like my grandma got sick at that time, right? And I just wanted to like graduate, not even really for myself. Like to be honest, if it came down to me, I wouldn't have walked across the stage. I would have just got my diploma and like not went to grad. But I wanted to do that for her. And like that was just another moment that like we share together, that like I have those pictures and stuff. She has those pictures. So it was just like another moment for like us as like a family to have, like seeing me graduate and shit too, which was good. Cause like I said, like, you know, my grandpa, like he didn't want to fucking like they already raised their kids, you know what I mean? So for them, it's like an accomplishment seeing their kid, like they raised a kid and now he's graduating, going to college. Like,
right.
That is an accomplishment for your parents, right? So yeah, so I was just happy I could like provide that moment for her. And like, and then, yeah, we were just, from there, it's just been up, like just went to college and like, and yeah, the college story is crazy too. Like,
bro, I'm trying to because there was so much that transpires around this moment. We're gonna have to go in linear order now, but there was a lot that I wanted to touch on. But one thing before we leave high school, we got to give more of a shout out to Mr. White.
Yeah, shout out Mr. White,
greatest teacher you've ever had.
Yeah, by far.
What was the gem that he gave you?
He just told me that like. Dude, it's crazy. I can't remember. It's scary. I forgot the last time we said it too, but it was like something about like just. It was pretty much just like following, like sticking to something. You know what I mean? Like always being like true to like your goals and like your. He gave me a couple gems. I can give a couple. Like,
right.
There's another one he gave me where he was saying how like, you know, just stay true to like your morals and always like put your creativity first. And that's always been something that I've like lived off of. Like, I'm not going to like bend my morals for my creativity, but creativity is always going to be one of the first things that I like turn to for like, for everything. Right. I'm always going to think about stuff creatively. So I think honestly, he gave me a lot of stuff. Like he gave me a lot of gems, and yeah, he's the GOAT though. Shout out to Mr. White. Like he's the GOAT for sure.
So we go to Fanshawe, which is like a dream of yours. You're finally out the gulag.
Out the gulag, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Got out the gulag, bro. And yeah, it was just crazy. Like just like this thing that like I mesmerized. Like being in high school, like yo, I'm gonna leave the Sioux and go to London. Like keep in mind, like I'm going there every summer. Like you know, to like see my cousins and like. I'm like, holy shit, this city's fucked. Like, this city's crazy. It's so big. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the mall in the Sioux is like half the size of like their smallest mall. And so, like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, there's so much shit we can do here. Like, I can do so much music stuff. I can meet so much people. And then we got there and we get to school and stuff. And we're, at that time, me and Siah were living at our own spot in London in our own apartment. And we're at school and I'm kind of going through this like weird time in my life where I feel guilty for being at school because obviously my grandma got sick. I think in March of like that year, 2018, I went to school in like August.
Right.
And, she got sick. So I felt guilty for leaving. And like, even though I knew I needed to, like, I just felt guilty. So I was dealing with that mental battle and I was also going through depression and stuff like that. And like, I was super anxious. I had like a lot of anxiety, like at that time in my life. It was also the first time I drank really was in college and I found a love for bourbon. So like, I was like, sipping Henny, dude. Like it was crazy. Like I was smoking backwoods all the time. Like it was nuts. Like I was just living the college lifestyle, like, and not dealing with my problems. And like at one point, like throughout semester, like I was like, yo, this is like high school. Like I hate this. Like I can't afford to get a nice camera, but I'm getting docked like grades because I don't have the best camera.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people will say like, it's not the camera, right? It's the photographer, which is true. Like I definitely wasn't like applying myself the best, but
at the
like,
time you felt
I
like
could see like, you know what I mean? Like I could see like, yeah, I was a victim of my circumstances at that point. And yeah, I was just like, well, what the fuck is the point of this? So I literally like, skipped like a month of college. And then I go to school and they're like, dude, I kill the exams. Like I kill all my exams. And this one teacher was like, yeah, but you didn't show up. So you're not going to get that extra grade. So I got a 49 in that class.
Didn't they tell you this? Is this what they told you when you went back home?
No, this is before I went back home. So after that, so he's like, gives me a 49, couldn't give me a 50.
Yeah.
Right? Just being like an asshole about it.
Right.
So then I which is crazy to me because teachers literally don't give a fuck if you, in college, like they don't care if you're there. Like, as long as you get your work done, they don't care. Like their thought process is like, you're paying to actually be here. So like, I can't tell you shit. And then I go home for Christmas that year. And I'm at home, I'm on the laptop, I'm like searching through my college stuff, I'm like searching through about next semester, I think I'm all doing good, great, whatever. I failed one class, it is what it is, whatever, I'll make up that credit next semester.
Right.
Dude, I get an email, they're like, yeah, your attendance was poor, or like beyond poor or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to redo semester 1 in December. So I'd have to do another full calendar year of school, which is crazy. And I would never do that.
Yeah.
and like, come on, bro. Like, what are you asking me? And like, it's already enough to ask me to fucking go to school like that anyways. And like, as soon as I heard the full calendar year, I'm like, no break, like no break, like throughout the summer, throughout the winter, through everything. Nah. And yeah, they're like, you have to either redo the semester in winter or wait till next year to do your first year. Like to wait till next, like August or September, whatever it is, right? So I was like, whoa. I was like, I practically got kicked out. Like pretty much got kicked out.
And this is where the lies came in.
Yeah. This is where like I just started like a really bad pattern of like being super manipulative and like really like not giving a fuck. Like we know now, like I have an attitude. We'll get to that later, but like I have like an aura of myself where I just don't like really care about stupid shit.
Right.
Well, back then I didn't give a fuck about anything. Like even shit you're supposed to care about. Like I didn't care. Like I didn't care about music, didn't care about hurting people's feelings. I didn't care about.
But there's one thing you did care about because you lied to your grandparents about how you were doing in school.
Yeah. Like I lied to my parents that I was even in school.
Yeah.
I told my parents I was still in school. I was making up all sorts of crazy shit to keep up this persona of being like one of the first to go to college in our family and like all that shit.
Because you kept that fear of disappointment.
Yeah, like I didn't want to be disappointed. I didn't want them to be disappointed in me. Right? Because that's the worst thing that I could have thought of in that moment. But I just think that like when you do stuff like that, like looking back now, like I was just prolonging like the inevitable, dude. Like it's like you can't avoid that. They're gonna find out eventually. Like not gonna get that diploma. They're gonna find out. You know what I mean? And like they've like, you know, they eventually found out and like, well, I actually told them, like I had to end up coming clean and telling them.
Right.
And yeah, it was not good. I was lying about having a job, everything. It was crazy. Like it was a bad time.
I don't know exactly when this happened, but the loss, was it close to this point?
So, no. So like, after I dropped out or like got kicked out, right?
Right.
I went through the whole like first semester, like the whole beginning of that year.
Yeah.
And then that's when Siah went into the MIA program where he met like everybody, like Kairaz, Kodo, all those guys. Yeah. And I got introduced to them through them, right? Or I got introduced to like your cousin Kairaz and like all of them through Siah,
right?
Through that program. We all just became really, really good friends. And then we moved into that crib together with like Kairaz and Siah and Toxic. We all moved into that crib. And that's when like I got that loss like from my mom. Yeah. That's when like I lost my mom, was when we were all living in that house and stuff. And it was pretty crazy. It was like, it was an unreal like experience. Like I don't really know
There was a lot going on. I don't even know how to like comprehend. Like there was so much happening at that time. Like your grandmother was sick.
Yeah, my grandma was sick.
School was whatever was happening with that.
Like I was just not involved in school at all.
Then you lose.
Yeah, lose my mom in. I lost my mom in May of 2021. So this year will be 3 years.
And that's intense, but like there was even
this would be 3
more
years.
losses before that too. Like you've been dealing with loss your whole
2020,
life.
Sorry, 2020. I'm getting the years.
Yeah. But you were dealing with loss your whole life.
Yeah, I've dealt with loss my whole life. Like, you know, when I was younger, like my great grandpa like passed away. So like I've dealt with like a lot of loss, like based around like drug abuse and suicide, and like it's been pretty like heavy like my whole life, like dealing with that kind of stuff. So when it like I always had conversations with my grandpa about my mom, because like as I got older I kind of knew like she wasn't gonna get better. You know, when you're like a kid and you're like, you know what I mean, like I can fix everything, dude.
Yeah,
like I'm a kid, like I can do whatever I want, like I have an imagination, so I can do everything. So I always thought I could fix my mom, but like there was a moment where I was just like, okay, like I can't, like, you know what I mean, like I can't do that. And my mom was actually so like, she had like her addiction took over her whole like everything. Like she was kind of like addicted to everything when I was a kid, but like really when I was a teenager it got really bad. Because it's crazy, like when I don't know if you ever like come across someone that's like schizophrenic or like bipolar, like there's a time frame that when they start to have like their worst symptoms, their brain switches off. Like it doesn't like progress in time, like time stops.
Yeah.
So like for me, my mom always pictured me as a baby. Like she never thought I grew up. So like she had me from when I was like born, obviously, to like when I was like 3 when my grandparents adopted me.
Right.
And like she never like seen me past that stage. So like she always babied me, and like, you know what I mean? It was crazy. It's crazy.
Different. Like wow, yeah. That's
so like growing up I always like just, she would talk to me like that, and like she was so like manic and like say a lot of crazy shit.
Right.
Like, so I had an on and off like relationship with her. Like she didn't really know that, but like for me, I was just like, you know what I mean? Cause like when someone's so schizophrenic, like one time like she called me and she was like, "Oh hi, like how you doing?" And then I was like, you know, hung up. Next, literally calls me like 2 minutes later. She's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Shit, like you're the reason. Like all that stuff. Like, so it was just like hard for me to like understand that like when she passed, like that like I didn't have to deal with it anymore, and I felt like I'm probably like I felt like a moment of guilt, because I was like, I did feel like a weight lifted off my shoulders,
right?
But I also felt like so much pain and like sadness from losing my mom, especially to that of like all the things you can lose someone to, like to that I was just like, you know, it was just very heavy. And like I've been through all these ups and downs in my life that we talked about, right? And like I've always learned lessons from stuff, and I've always kind of tried to like, you know what I mean? Like, but like when that happened, I just like my brain just like shut off, and I was just like numb and like.
But what's important is,
yeah,
I understand that you didn't physically change your life after that loss, but mentally something sparked in your brain.
Yeah.
Versus all the other losses, you learned something from this one.
100%. I just learned like whatever, like it's crazy because like it's hard to explain. Like my physical body, like my spiritual, everything spiritual, like my mind, everything, like it was like almost in the future, like a future me.
Right.
But my body and like my physical form was just like a vessel of just like numbness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I was just kind of floating, and like I didn't really like whatever I learned, whatever clicked in my brain in that moment, I didn't learn till like the last couple months. Like I didn't like fully click to the last couple months. And yeah, it was just fucking, yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's hard to explain, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But it was just very like, there's a couple of months where I don't even remember a moment of my life. Like I don't remember. It's weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, like you're talking about last year, like around that time?
Around that time, and then like a couple months like last year, and like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's just moments in my life I don't remember because of just numbness.
A huge thing that we talked about was you blaming others, you having that bad habit.
Mm-hmm.
Explain about that. And then you said that that's the easiest path to take.
Yeah, 100%. Like we were saying how, like, I was telling you how, like, I think that the easiest path for humans to go down is to blame everybody for the shit they do.
Right.
And the hardest path is the opposite of that, is just taking accountability for your shit.
Right.
And I think, like, around that time, I was just in the mode of just, like, always blaming everybody for everything. Like, it was just blame mode. You know what I mean? When that happened, I was just like, okay, like, you know, life is pointless. Nothing means anything.
Yeah.
All that shit. Like, you know what I mean? It was just, I don't know. I had to go through that, though. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go through shit like that. I feel like,
right.
Obviously not everybody has to go through shit like that, but you have to, like, go through those mental battles, I feel like, to come out a better person. And yeah, it's odd to say, but, like, I wouldn't change anything because
it made you who you are today.
It made me who I am. So I can't change anything. You know what I mean? There's no point in going back and changing stuff.
Somebody watching this who's still kind of making excuses for themselves, blaming others for where they are in life, complaining. Yep. What steps can they take from going from the easy path to the hardest path of taking accountability for their life and taking responsibility for their actions?
The steps...
how do they make that shift, that change?
You kind of just got to do it. Like, you got to just, like, at some point, you just got to be like, you got to have a moment of clarity and, like, realization in yourself. And, like, you got to, like, some people never get to that point. That's the problem with, like, that way, like, you know, going that way.
Yeah.
And, like there is things that you can do. Like, obviously you can, like, just slowly, like, change your life habits and, like, just your daily routine and, like, all that stuff. Like,
why slow and not fast?
Some people, like, for me, I just switched it, right? Like, for me, I just switched. I was like, okay, like, needs to, like, stop. I need to switch.
Right.
But some people go at their own speed. Like, it's just person to person based. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I would say, like, for anybody that's in that position, like, it's a lot. It may seem hard to get to taking accountability, but once you start taking accountability, you find your life way easier, and you find you get way more respected by your peers because you can fuck up and then be like, oh yeah, that's my fault.
Right.
Instead of being like, oh, nah, I fucked up because of you, or I fucked up because of you, or
yeah,
you're the reason why I'm fucking up, or you're the reason why my life is going to shit. Like,
I was telling Kairos, he was explaining kind of when you become a team, a lot of, like, things shift. Like, once you put, like, a label on the people around you, like, oh, we're a team now, people like to cast blame on others for, like, things not going well. Yeah. And I was telling him that that's when you find out who the leader is. Like, that isn't an excuse to, like, not work together, because whoever is getting the blame cast on them, that person probably sees that person as, like, the bigger person, right? Yeah. And when you reciprocate the same behavior, you show them that you're also, like, no one's on a higher level. Everyone's just kind of following. Mm-hmm. So the leader is able to take that blame, like, all right, it's on me. Yeah. I'm gonna fix it, but you guys gotta follow. You guys gotta follow my lead and show them the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, the person who actually takes accountability is the one who's gonna lead the rest, the followers, to success.
Exactly. And, like, I feel like also, like, you could have a group of leaders, because if you all take accountability, you have a group of people that lead each other, and then you're just all leading each other. It's just a group. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like about our group. Like, we all take accountability. We all, like, tell each other when we're doing stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we hold each other accountable too. So, like, I feel like that's, like, very important. You got to find people that, you know, will hold you accountable for your bullshit.
Right.
And but you also, on the other hand, you have to be at a place in your life to accept it, because, like, you know, 4 years ago, I wouldn't be able to accept people's criticisms and stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
So it's like a swing action that's about to happen right now. Like, you talk, like, you're about to go on a low post-London. Yeah, you're about to go on a low.
Yeah, like, when I moved to Toronto, holy, I was like, it was like London part 2. I was like, holy shit, double the size of London. It's fucking 10 times the size of the zoo. I'm like, holy shit, this is it, bro. And even like back in, like, high school, like, me and Siah would be like, yo, Toronto's the spot. Like, Toronto, then LA. Like, we're gonna go to Toronto and then we're gonna go to LA. That's what we manifested. Like, that was the goal, was to get to whatever step we had to take to get to Toronto, we were going to take those steps to Toronto. Even we had to, you know, go to fucking Peterborough or some shit before we go to Toronto. We had to go get down here, down south, like Southern Ontario. We just had to get over here. You know what I mean? And when I got here, it was crazy. Like the first day I got here, I did a show. Like first 2 days I got here, I did a show. I was like nuts. And that's how I met my ex-manager, right? It was a show he threw. And I performed and I did really good. And like he came out to me, he's like, yo, you're pretty good. And like he already knew my boy Toxic. Like my boy Toxic and my boy Sam, like they already knew him. And he ran a group, like I'm not gonna say like the group name and stuff, but like he ran a group. Yeah. And he wanted us to be a part of it. And we just got like clicked up with them and stuff. And like, yeah, we just did shows throughout the next couple of years. Like, we did it. We did the show throughout the first year that I was living here, which was like 2022. Okay. I think it was 2022. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, 2022. Right. So all year 2022, I'm doing shows. Like my life is like, I'm like, this is high. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Really, like, really I'm high. Like, I'm gonna fucking blow up this year. Like I was like so dead set. I'm like, this is my fucking year. I'm blowing the fuck up. I'm doing all these shows. But I'm not planning. You know what I mean? I'm not really dropping. I'm not really putting in work. I'm doing these shows.
The rocket took off, but you didn't check the fuel. You didn't measure nothing. You didn't make sure the parts are put together properly. It just took off.
I didn't even check the simple shit, like is the windshield screwed in or
something. Like you know what I'm saying?
Like I didn't check anything. Like,
who's steering, bro?
Yeah, and like unfortunately, like I have no ill will towards anybody, bro. Like shit happens, life happens.
Like you said, you don't blame others no more.
I don't blame anybody for anything that happened. Even like that was another thing, like taking accountability for my actions. Like the reason why like I don't work with them anymore is a part of my doing. Like I blew up and did like things that I shouldn't have done out of character. Right. But I was also at the time, you know, going through a really bad addiction. Right. Again, like I was coming back to like, you know, throughout college and throughout my early 20s, I was dealing with addiction and kind of just like in and out of addiction, kind of playing with it. And like early last year, probably I'd say like around June, I got really, really addicted to like Molly. Yeah. Which like if people don't know, it's like a party drug and like you just, I don't know. It's like hard to explain, but like you basically like you have a certain amount of dopamine in your body and you get it all dumped on you at one time when you do Molly. So like you feel like euphoric and you feel like you're a higher power and like, yeah. So I just got super.
But remember you told me about this. You keep, when you get addicted to Molly, you're forcing your dopamine, like, you know what I'm saying? The levels to just rise. But then there's like a period that you can't amass none of it. Like it doesn't.
You have like a 3-day period. Like if you do a lot of Molly, like you have like 4 days of like no dopamine. So like when you have no dopamine, like you're just depressed for 4 days. Like it's like you have no desire to do anything. I would just lay in bed. You know what I mean? Go to work and lay in bed.
Like nothing can spike it. Nothing.
Because you're just drained. Because like you have so much dopamine throughout your week, right? So it's any type of like joy you feel or any type of like, whoa, shit, yeah.
You know I'd be laughing and jiggling, smiling all the time.
You know what I mean? That's a part of your dopamine receptors. So it's like all of that drained for 1 moment for 3 hours.
What does that do to your mind? What do you be thinking at this time?
You just like, dude, you're like, it's like, it's crazy. Like, it's like, I don't recommend anybody do it. If you do it obviously safe and stuff and like with people you trust. But like, I just think it's like, it's too much for me and I did too much of it. And now I just don't need it. I don't need to touch it anymore. But during that time, I was also drinking a lot. So I was mixing it with drinking. I did shrooms when I was doing Molly and shit too. Right. So I was smoking a lot of weed around that time too. Yeah. I was going to clubs, everything, going to a bunch of shows. Like my boy Toxic was running, what's it called? What's that stuff called?
The nightclub you said?
Yeah, he was doing like promotion for a club. Like he was a club promoter. And we just had like bottles, everything. We were just like, you know.
And the access through, I don't know if it was your manager, whatever it was, where the Molly, like it was always there.
Like it was just like our manager, like he just always had like stuff. So it's like I just had instant access to it. So like I got to a point where like I couldn't say no if it was in front of me.
And not because of peer pressure, because of just
because
the addiction, and the access was just mixed with, it was too much. And then your boy was running a club, so it's like, or promoting for a club.
Yeah.
So you always had access into the club. Everything was always there. Anytime you had an indulgence, like a desire or a craving, you could always get your hands on it.
Yeah, dude. Like I was just like, it's a lot. It's like so much stuff. The lifestyle is like, I couldn't put up with it for more than 2 months. Like I don't know how people do it every single like day for years, but like that lifestyle is not for me at the end of the day. And like
a lot of rappers we look up to live this type of lifestyle. I don't like at the top of the game.
I know it's crazy.
Idolizing them, and you know the inside. Like
yeah, I know a lot of people live that lifestyle. It's like it's just not it. Like I think like if you're a musician, like your lifestyle should be music. Like just make music. You don't need fucking clubs. You don't need to do drugs to get inspiration for shit. Right. The only thing I would recommend is like shrooms. I think shrooms like changed my life for sure. 100%.
And it wasn't like a consistent thing. It was just one specific moment that really hit. One
specific moment. It just I took them at the right time. Like we said, we were talking before about how like I just had to take them at that moment. Right. It was like right after I stopped doing Molly. I stopped drinking. Right. It was right after everything. I gave myself enough time to like recover mentally from everything that was going on, like with my ex-manager and the group and everything. Like that shit all blew up, and like. Yeah, we don't even like talk to them anymore and stuff. Yeah. So like, yeah, and like even like the time I was on Molly, like I was just being like an ass, bro. Like I was just like so mad at everything, mad at the world, mad at like people, bro. I was disrespecting Siah, disrespecting like your cousin. Like I was just
for sure
ultimate like crash out. Like no one could tell me like anything.
Explain that, like how your relationship took a dip with Siah specifically. During this ordeal,
we actually had there's a specific moment that actually happened. Like, I remember he was like, I was on the phone with him about something. I don't even know what it was. I can't remember what it was because it was so pointless. But I was just so like strung out, like from doing Molly for like 3 days, that like he did something that doesn't even matter, and it just pissed me the fuck off. Like, I just got into like full rage mode, screaming at him over the phone, disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like, just not like what you should be. Like, I would never want to be talked to the way I talked to him, basically. Yeah. So, like, looking back on it, it's like, we've already went through our, like, process of, like, dealing with that situation and talking about it as, like, brothers and shit. And then we just got over it. But I'm very grateful to have someone that's, like, that, like, understanding. You know what I mean?
Because
he's always seen the bigger picture. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
He always knew, like, he literally said, like, to me, he's like, bro, like, I thought, like, he said, like, to your cousin, like, he's like, yo, like, I thought, like, we lost him to, like.
They were still there. Yeah, like.
They were there. They wanted me to be there. They were just, like, they thought they lost me to, like, the fucking drugs and shit like that. Like,
Kairos in his own way was a one of one. Like, he never really got into what you guys were doing, and he just stood on his own, and he said it's okay to be sober and just live a healthy life. And just focus on music. You don't have to live this lifestyle.
Exactly.
And then Siah, like, he never left your side. Even when you thought, like, things were cut off, he still came around. You guys had that one experience with the shrooms.
Exactly. My birthday in November last year, he was like, yo, I got you a present. Shrooms. Yeah. So we had shrooms. And it was just perfect. Like, I was just like, I didn't trip. Like, I didn't, like, have a physical, like, psychedelic trip, like, where, like, I'm, like, seeing crazy shit. I just, like, had a very real moment in time with like one of my best friends talking about life, and we were just like, everything we were saying was just hitting, bro. Like, everything was, you know, when you're just talking and it's just like, yo, holy shit, like I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I was just feeling like sounds and everything. We were listening to music, like it just reinvented like my whole thought process on life.
Right.
And it felt like I was being reborn a little bit.
The clouds.
Yeah, the clouds. Yeah, I was laying down on the floor and I was looking up and I was like, yo, I can hear something. And it was like something that whispered in my ear like, yo, don't give a fuck. Like, don't give a fuck. And I looked up and it said, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
In the roof. And I was like, holy fuck.
And it just hit because someone told you that before.
Yeah, my homie TJ, like, shout out her. She was one of my dogs from London. She told me, like, you just care about too much stupid shit. Like, don't give a fuck about that.
And we were talking about how like girls, like this has happened to like a lot of different people. Like every guy can kind of attest to this, that like girls can see you better than you can see yourself.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. Even like as your friends, like it doesn't need to be a relationship. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's never been that between me and her. We just been homies.
Right.
And like I respect her like fully. And like that moment, like literally clicked with the shrooms. I was like, that's crazy. Like
it makes sense. Like this correlates to something I've heard before.
Yeah, because like your homies always tell you like, yo, don't give a fuck about shit like that. And you're like,
yeah. But like, when
that moment it like hit, and it instantly reminded me of that moment that we had together. So I was like, okay. And then we just had more conversations. We talked for like 5 hours off shrooms. Like it was crazy, nonstop, like constant flow conversation. And we were just like, at the end of it, I was like, bro, I feel like a new person. Like I feel like,
and then that was the start of
everything. I
the
quit
redemption
smoking weed. Never smoked. I haven't smoked weed since. I haven't drank really since. I've had a couple drinks every now and then.
Came off all the drugs.
Came off everything. I haven't touched Molly since.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah, I just feel like a new person, just solely focused on
since
music.
I've met you, I have never seen you do a drug. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's crazy. Because if you met me like earlier in the year, you'd be like, yo, I don't like this guy. Like, actually.
Bro, I don't think me and you would have clicked. It was actually ordained that we met this way.
Exactly.
And I was going to ask you, like, looking back, and you didn't really touch on it too much, but like how you said everything just blew up. Like it was kind of weird how all the access points that you had to your like addictions and all like the negative points, they just blew up in your face. Like your group blew up, this part over here, like and then the shrooms experience with your best friend that like who you were like in a way pushing away. You know what I'm saying? Like stay away from me, back off. And he came to you and was like, nah. Looking back, what does that look like to you?
Honestly, like it's gonna sound corny, but like it just looks like peace, bro. I've been through so much shit in my life, like that. Like I feel like right now, like I'm at like the most peaceful state that I've been at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just know that like obviously shit in life is inevitable, and like more things are fucked up. Shit is gonna happen. Like that's just how life is.
Right.
But I feel like I'm at my current state. I'm more prepared to deal with it, like properly. Like I just never been ready to deal with problems. I've always ran away from problems. Like I said earlier, I've always blamed people for everything. So a big piece of my personal growth has just been me understanding like now I can take whatever happens and I can actually like deal with it properly.
100%.
Like that shroom trip was like it. Like that shit was just like, whoa, music is your fucking. It literally was just like, music is your
serious,
lifeline.
Man.
Like
Lock in.
It's your, you know what I mean? And some people say like you don't want to be so invested in one thing. Like you want to, you know what I mean? Like some people will say like you don't want to be so obsessed with something, but bro, like I don't care. Like music is like, I'm obsessed with music. Like, and I think sometimes like it like I said, it like all of that bad shit that was happening was bleeding into everything. Remember I said that? Like it was just bleeding into everything. Everything was like,
I forgot
everything. The bleeding,
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
The bleeding, like it was bleeding into everything. Like one thing would happen in one portion of my life, and it would like affect everything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But now it's just like I don't like you know how I am, bro. Like I just like
it was a very vivid vision in my head when you kept saying like
the bleeding.
Like you kept saying like the anger used to bleed into your life, the lies used to bleed into your life, and then we talked about how you kept on lying and like life would just come back and hit you. Yeah. And I was telling you that quote that Jordan Peterson told me where like Jordan Peterson loves talking about lies. He's very, very detailed about lies. And he says like the world, this universe is kind of like warped around truth. Like it flows with truth. And when you lie, you distort and twist and turn the fabric of space of reality. Like you go against what the world is supposed to do, and when you keep lying, it keeps twisting and turning, it snaps back at you every time. Like, because the world is always going to go back to truth. That's why the truth always comes out. You know what I'm saying? So that's why like it kept hitting you, and like that bleeding when you had that loss, rest in peace. Like you said, it made you aware that you were bleeding.
Yeah, 100%.
And what was going on, but you didn't fix it yet. But you still had that mental awareness of what was going on.
Yeah, I had like a realization that like every single thing you do in life like is gonna affect parts of your other life. Right? You know what I mean? You can't separate like, you know what I mean? Like, some people are really good at being different people. Like for me, I couldn't do that. I couldn't show I'm very emotional. Like I talk about my emotions very often, and like I wear my heart on my sleeve type shit. Like,
right.
So like I couldn't keep my emotions away from something. They would boil over at some point. So I just realized that like in that state, like after I lost my mom, like I realized it, but like I told you, like my body didn't realize it. Like my mind realized it. Future me knew it.
Yeah.
But current Kato, what fuck I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
current Kato did not realize that shit at all.
Right.
So I don't know. Fuck, I don't care. My Govey's Elijah. Everybody, if you know.
It's calm, bro. It's calm, bro. That's a hard name, man.
Yeah. It's my birth name, so yeah. But regardless, everybody calls me Kato and shit. So, but yeah, I just think that like that current state of myself, I couldn't. My body couldn't like handle like the information my brain was trying to like tell it. You know.
Right.
It was just too much.
I was actually thinking because I'm always thinking about like the title and like what sticks to me through this podcast episode, right? And like at first I was leaning towards the bleeding. The bleeding was tough. When you were saying it, like you said it good this time, but like the last time too, it was really good. Hitting, and but a specific point that I kind of looked at was it's always there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it wasn't until like those blow-ups that it kind of just blew up all those other false paths and just led you down the one.
100%.
And like, you know, like I talked about how Siah was like your angel in your life. Yeah. And like every single time he spoke, it was always the way you were supposed to go. And it wasn't until you listened to him that he started guiding you. Yeah. So it just made me think about how doubt, insecurity, uncertainty, it's always there. Like you could have faith, right? But at any point you could put down the shield of faith. You could like just stop believing and just start doubting yourself. It's always there. You could always just be like, you know what, I quit. Yep. You know what, this isn't for me. It's 100%. Always, you're always able to give up on yourself.
Shit, I've quit music like twice.
You know what I'm saying?
I've done it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've been like, fuck this. I'm not doing music anymore. I'm gonna go do something else. But it always comes back. Your passion is always gonna be there. Like it's always, whatever makes you happy is always gonna take over what makes you sad. Like you just gotta let it happen. And a lot of people don't let like the good emotions like help them. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like so a lot of people like reject their good emotions because they just want to be sad or they just.
So I'm saying
they just want to live
the right
in the
path
doubt.
Is always. You could always just get up and start walking the right path at any moment.
Any moment.
And at any moment, you could turn around and go back to your past and live. You know what I'm saying?
But no one's gonna get up and walk that path for you. You got to walk it yourself.
That's true.
So exactly, you can get all the help. Like that's the one thing I realized too. Like I can get all the help in the world, but if I don't fix my shit, like I'm never gonna change.
Right.
So. Yeah, a lot of self-realization came in the later years of my life so far. So, looking forward to like the future and like just how much more I'm gonna grow and shit. Yeah, it's exciting.
Quick shout out, you forgot him this time. Star.
Oh, Star. Yeah.
Quick shout out. You know,
I was thinking about it. I was like trying to fit it in.
Yeah, bro. You got to throw it in there, bro.
Yeah,
you got to throw it in.
Star. Yeah, like that guy. Like I've told him in person and shit too, but like. That guy's helped me grow as an artist like crazy.
100%.
Even like Siah, like we were kind of like it was perfect moment type shit. It's the same thing when we met fucking your cousin, the way we met you. Everything has just been placed perfectly. Like you know what I mean? And like with Star, like we met him. Well, actually, Siah knew him for like 2 years. Like he's known him for 2 years through Kairos, and we were just like. Kind of knew him, but like you know, we weren't really at a level where we could like work with him. I felt like at that point, right? Like I wasn't really even thinking about that. And then some reason we just linked him. I think it was like a Hamilton show that we did with Smiley. Like we opened for Smiley, so he was there with Don Valley and stuff. And we were like, we went there, we linked them and stuff, and like we asked him if he wanted to pull up for a session. He pulled up, and then off rip, we just like had like a crazy musical connection, and it just like. I owe that guy a lot to like my creativity being like boosted. You know what I mean?
100%.
Because it was a good time for like us. Like he was going through certain shit in his career, and like we were going through like the group stuff, like, coming off of the group stuff, and it was just like a perfect like recipe for like the song. You've heard some of the fucking tracks; they're fucking crazy.
Yo, we talked about this, bro. I don't like how you guys keep showing me new songs every day, sending me files of all these great tracks. And you're keeping it to yourself. You're not posting it. Yo.
That's the life of an artist.
You guys are getting an unreleased snippet at the start of this pod. Just know that.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple of things that also need to be said. I'm forgetting now. They're gonna be out of order, but also that picture in your room. You remember we talked about the picture of it's cracked? You said in the middle or something.
Oh yeah, my mom. Like yeah, that's why like I got a lot of. I feel like I get a lot of my artistic like endeavors and like all my artistic like creativity from my mom, because like she used to paint, and like I would go into her crib. Like she lived in this like assisted living spot, right?
Yeah.
And I would go into her crib and like she just have floorboards to the roof painted like with like
beautiful
crazy drawings. Like some of them were crazy. I'm not some of them were like whoa. But it was her though. Like it was her whole soul was put on these walls. And I was like, that's like exactly how I feel about my music. So like it was just like it was crazy. And she's painted me like a couple paintings and like I still have them and shit. So yeah.
And it's beautiful because you believe that the gift of music was given to you by your mother.
Yeah.
And when you had nowhere to go, like when you didn't feel like love or acceptance in high school, you felt it for the first time through music. You know what I'm saying? You found your connection, you found your best friends, you found you found everything in your life through music.
100%.
So it was like your mom was there, you know what I'm saying? Like she guided you through that gift. She was there always.
Yeah, always.
You know what I'm saying?
Always.
That's hard, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so where do we go from here? Like what's the next steps in the career?
The next steps.
What's the future plans?
Honestly, bro, just like I'm just trying to lock the fuck in now. Like we have so much music. Like I want to post it. Like I want to put it out. Like
I know.
It just comes with. We talked about like the marketing side of everything.
100%.
Like, we talked about literally this morning about how like we don't want to break our morals.
Yes, talk about that. Talk about what are the stumbling. Like what do you think are the obstacles blocking you from taking those next steps?
So like for me, and I know the same thing with like Kyraz, like
100%.
It's the same thing. Like I just don't want to do corny shit. Like at least like we were talking about how like I know some people that do stuff on like social media for views, right? Like I know artists in the city that do that, and for them it works for them. But for me, it feels corny for me. Not saying it's corny for them. I'm just saying like for me, I would cringe making that stuff, and I just know it's not going to come off genuine. So that's the only thing that stops me from doing whatever it takes. You know what I mean? Like, it was the same thing with like I know Kyraz was saying this morning about how like he can do whatever it takes, but he actually won't do whatever it takes because there's certain things that like break his.
The knowledge is there, like you said, mental versus physical. Like mentally, you know what to do, but physically. You're hesitant on taking those steps.
And I don't know if I said it this time or I said it on the last one that we recorded, but like I just don't care about like fame like that. Like I don't think any of us really care about being fucking famous, like A-list celebrity famous. Like, I don't care. Like I just want my music to be heard by people and like have them like
who need it.
Yeah, like just need it, like because music got me through stuff. I know like for you guys, like music has like gotten you through fucking so much shit. It just like it's a big part of everybody's lives. You relate like your, you know what I mean, your memories to it,
100%,
everything. And like I just want to be that for some kid or somebody going through high school or something like that. They can just relate to it. I know sometimes I don't say like the realest shit, or like I have a lot of tracks that I do like spit real shit, but like a lot of times,
music
like,
is real in its own way. You were telling me that music's subjective, like music fully subjective. It's one of the most subjective things. It's got to be
one of the most, because like everything you can do, like when it comes to like either martial arts, jiu-jitsu, UFC, boxing, whatever, it's fact. It's like it's there, it's right there, it's fact. But music is feeling. Everything is based on feeling from music. Even like painting is just based on feeling. Like I could look at a painting and be like, that's ugly as fuck, and like someone's like, that is like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. That's why it's subjective. Same thing with music. You can hear a track like a new Kanye album, someone could be like, yo, this shit's ass, and I could be like, yo, this shit is stupid hard. Like, I love this album, right? It's all subjective. So like when it comes to that, like you just put all your feeling, just put your emotion into your music, and like people are gonna connect with it. People.
Speaking on music, some albums you talked about it, but you didn't say it this time. Some albums, give the people some albums.
Some albums.
Yeah, albums, artists that inspired you.
Oh yeah, I would say the artist that inspired me the most, like recently, like because like I said, growing up, like I didn't like really listen to music
Culture.
all that often. Culture,
Migos, Culture. What? You said Culture was one of them. You said you listened to Culture like every day one year.
I used to listen to it every day in high school.
Every single day. One of the biggest inspirations of your life, man.
Biggest inspiration. Like they were just like.
Put some respect on Kelly Price right now. Right this second, bro.
Honestly, like that album was just so like influential to me. Like coming into music, I was like, there's so many, these flows are crazy. Like, what the hell? And then it just introduced me to everything. It introduced me like all the trap shit that I still listen to today. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and like I would say like my newer inspirations, like, it's weird. I had this conversation with Siah and Star the other day about how like I don't really listen to much music anymore because like I feel like I get more inspiration around the people around me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like I get a lot of inspiration from like listening to like Kairaz's music or Siah's music or Star's music. And I still obviously listen to like the people that I love, but like I don't feel the need to like look for inspiration elsewhere because I already have it in my friend group. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like they inspire me to just be the best artist I can be anyway. So it's like, you know what I mean?
I hear you, brother.
Type shit. But like a big artist that has inspired me though is like Juice. Like Juice WRLD has been a big one. Same with X. Like those two like definitely like played a major role in like helping me through all my problems and stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember we always have the conversation about like top 5 trap albums and stuff like that. You know those conversations.
Yeah.
Death Race for Love for me is up there.
Yo,
Death Race for Love.
Yo, you know Death Race for Love
is one of. Damn, bro, it's one of them,
bro.
Going through the motions,
People don't need
mighty emotions. Going through the motions, mighty emotions. Back on my
bullshit
devil emoji. Come on, bro. Come on, dog. Don't play
People
with me.
don't know about that album, bro. People don't play on that album. That album's crazy.
Rocking back and forth. What's the commotion? Told her I'ma drown in it.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Stop it.
Life is moving fast. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's one of them.
Yeah. That's a great album, though, honestly. But yeah, I would say like those two for sure. And then yeah, like honestly, like I just pull inspiration from people around me, like. You know, I feel like your friend group and like the people you work with are like a big like characterization of like what did I say? That characterization of like who you are as a person.
Right.
So it's like every person has like them, and then like they have like a tree of like their friends. It's like, you know, it's like a little tree.
Yeah.
And it's like each person is like, okay, this is like I connect with this person because of this. I connect with this person because of this.
Yeah.
And then your whole friend group is just like a combination of everything.
Why do we connect?
I think we connect because like you just get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't just get it. Like, I feel like I can say shit, and I'm just like, I feel like you'll get it. Like, no one in the room can get it, but I feel like you'd get it.
100%.
You know?
No, I do.
Yeah,
I get that.
Like sometimes, like people take the fact that I'm like goofy and like I say a bunch of bullshit, like that I'm dumb, like, but I don't think you ever like felt like that. And I
said,
like
yo, straight up, the first time we ever talked about it, because you know I see things through a different lens. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like a big part of my life is fiction, cartoons, characters, stuff like that. So I like to see things like that. So the first time I saw you, and I was like, yo, you're Deadpool. And if you know Deadpool, the man's a goofball, he's a fool, this is that. But if you actually know him, even without the powers, he'd be one of the most dangerous men on the planet. Like, he's actually gifted, but people kind of don't take him seriously because of his like his demeanor and everything.
100%.
So I could tell that you were special. Like, you know, if you actually like.
Same with you, bro. Your mind is very like open, and like even if you're wrong, like you like aren't like stuck in your ways. Like, no, I hate being around people that like aren't open minded to like their mind being changed. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a big part of being like just a human.
Like, I feel like that's respect actually, because like if you're actually like so serious and so like stuck on one thing, and then someone could actually change that.
Yeah, you respects.
Like I actually
shit. Think about it.
I'm impressed by you, so I want to give you those flowers. Like, yo, you actually like said something that like that resonates with me.
Well, and that's if someone I don't respect is trying to change my mind, like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but you know what I'm saying? If you respect them and like, you know, I feel like you should respect everybody, but like, you know, like, that's obviously like
that's a tall tale. That's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's like easier said than done.
You know what? Quick question. Disney movie. Give me one.
Favorite?
Yeah.
Monsters Inc.
Oh my goodness, you're different still. You're different. You're different. Like, you're just a different guy, bro.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. I would say like what's that ant movie? Ant. Don't worry, spraying the ants.
Just stop.
Ant Bully, that's what it is.
Yo, what?
Yeah,
you know that movie?
Yo, I've seen everything.
It's a great movie, Ant Bully.
Say a word. You want to say something?
No, this is great. I'm listening.
Okay, bet.
Well, yeah, bro. Now this was a great pod. I'm actually thankful that like.
Yeah, we got to do it.
You know what I'm saying, bro? I'm thankful right now, bro.
Super grateful, yo. Appreciate you having me on, bro.
100%.
I want to be back. Man. Like, I want to be back with like.
You mean you want to be back?
Yeah.
You mean you want? You're going to be back. Like, what are you talking about, bro? What are you acting like, bro? This isn't no.
What do you mean?
You're not in the U.S. Miami, bro. Like you're gonna be back on the pod, bro. 1,000%.
100%.
And you're gonna be back with your boys too.
Yes, sir, dude. Yeah, I'm. I like what you got going on, bro. It's sick. It inspired. This shit inspires me too, cause like like we're getting into streaming and shit too, and like you can like. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a combination of like creativeness. That's why I feel like our crib works.
Right.
Because like
we're all creative. We're all
yeah.
Inspiring.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you put out fucking like 3 podcasts in 3 days.
Chill.
Crazy.
This one's coming out too, bro. What do you mean? Nah, come on, stop playing.
Yeah.
But yo, this was great, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's secure the bag this time though, you know?
Yeah.
Love.